Hey guys, so I noticed something interesting last night and I wanted to share it with you. So if you look at my TV, you can see that the four cameras on the bottom row are all offline, and those are all ones that are coming off my solar battery bank for my Wi-Fi trail cams. And interestingly, the one on the left is actually the one in the box, and that one was not offline last night. And I think I know why, so let me go ahead and show you.
All right, so let me show you what's going on. So I lost the cameras maybe at like, I don't know, 5 o'clock. So let me actually show you the event from 5 o'clock. I've got this set to record every hour inside the box. So you can see I'm only getting like 9.7 volts um, on the battery monitor. And so this is the weird thing too, is so I was still getting the camera battery box, the field camera battery box. And the reason that is that's actually running off DC directly. So the camera in the box is just feeding into this. Actually, you can kind of see that white wire there. That's from the Wisecam. And it's plugged into this DC cigarette lighter adapter. And then oops, right below that, this big black box, the sine wave, 400 watt sine power inverter. And then the orange cable coming out of it, that's running the other three cameras. So that probably has low voltage protection and it probably shut off like when it got below 10 volts or something. So that was interesting, I guess. So the cameras didn't shut off. And actually, I don't think I have any better pictures. I think I was looking at it manually yesterday. I can't really read what that says. But if I come to today or this morning, I got a 5 a.m. and it was down to 5.8 volts. So um, I'm definitely losing. So I was going back like through the days to try to figure out like what's going on. So I think so today is Thursday, yesterday was Wednesday. This must have been Tuesday. So I was like 12.9 on Tuesday. See what Monday was. I gotta get to a time when it's 13.1 Sunday. Looks like 13.0, 13.1, 13.0, 13.0. Let's go to Saturday. All right, Saturday looks like 13.2. So since Saturday, it's been dropping, but it's not really as simple as that either. So if I let's go to like midday Wednesday, and let's go to like 1 o'clock, which has historically been like my peak solar gain. And if we look at the bottom right of the box, I have negative 1.42 amps, or 16.7 watts. So that's pretty much like um, it's pretty much full usage. I think it's like between like 16 and 19, I want to say. Um, so sun's out. You can see the sun is out, and it doesn't look like it's generating at all. And if I go back like several days, like if I go back to Monday and we go to 1 o'clock, I think it's a similar story. Yeah, like negative 1.4, 18.8 watts. So again, that's like full consumption, no production. I think if I go back to Saturday, let's see, 1 o'clock. Nope. Let's try Friday. Nope. Let's try Thursday. So it's a little bit better actually. So like this is half the consumption. So I think we're actually catching up here, and actually at 13.3 volts. So that's probably the solar's picking up. Let me go to like the next hour. Let's go to 2 o'clock. So actually, here's the interesting. So this is 3 o'clock on Thursday. I'm plus 1.4 amps or plus 19 watts. I don't remember what my peak was. Let's go back another day. I'm just curious. Do 1 o'clock on Wednesday. There we are, positive 1 amp, positive 13.7 watts. Go to 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 3 o'clock to zero.
So yeah, so what I was thinking is that it's probably like a blown fuse somewhere, and I think there's three fuses that I have in the system. So one is to the inverter, um, and I don't think that one went because if you look at I don't think I showed it to you in any of the screenshots or any of the recordings, but there's a red light coming out of the inverter, so the inverter's still getting power, and that would only explain why the three cameras coming off AC aren't working. So I don't think that's the problem, or definitely not the root cause. Maybe it is blown, but like I said, I don't think it is because the red light's on. There is a fuse between the battery and the solar charger, the PWN charger, and well, now that I think about it, it could be that. I was gonna say it's probably not that because I'm still getting power to everything, but I guess that wouldn't make a difference because I think I'm powering before the MPP charger. So I might have to check that. And then the other one is the solar. and that's probably where I'm most likely at right now. So there's a 25 amp fuse between the solar and the PWM charger. So I need to take a look at that. But my top theory right now is I think it's actually the temperature. And I'll show you why. Let me go ahead and pull it.
Okay, so this trailer thermometer is the one that's in the box. And I'm looking at the last week, and I have not had like a lot of like temperature above 32, which is surprising because the box used to get kind of hot, so I need to figure that out. But this could be the internal low temperature switch inside the battery that prevents it from charging below, I want to say 32. It stops it from charging below 32, and I think it stops it from discharging below 0 Fahrenheit. So I think this could be our problem.
All right, so I'm out in my shed, and I just came through some of my storage bins, and I got some seedling heat mats that I have on hand, and a temperature sensor. And I just ran 100 foot from shore power from the trailer. You can kind of see it coming out the door there, over to the box, and I'm gonna slip these seed mats underneath and see if I can jumpstart things. So the only thing that's going to be on shore power will be the heat mat, and that will give me an idea of applying heat to it will fix our problem. So I'm gonna go set that up, and we'll check back in a bit. All right, I got it in there. Just barely fit actually. And I got the temperature sensor. It's reading 0, 0 right now. I know you guys can see that. I don't know why. I have it set to Fahrenheit. Actually set it to Celsius real quick. I mean, it's definitely not 0. Yeah, if I go to Fahrenheit or Celsius, it's not telling me. I can see I have it set to 40 Fahrenheit. So, and it says the heat light is on and the power light is on. This says 5 Celsius. I just got it to say 5. I don't know. I don't know how this thing works. I'll have to go look up the manual. But, and I have the temperature sensor like up here in between the batteries where that little suction cup is. So, and I think it's working. I kind of just put my hand on the mat. It felt a little bit warm. So let's see if things start coming back online. And I have the Govy sensor back there hanging. So I can also verify temperature that way. So I'll check back in a bit. Hopefully this does it though. All right.
Okay, so I just realized I made a mistake here. So I'm using existing temperature sensors. If you noticed in the earlier video, one is from my bedroom and then one is from the trailer. So when I was looking at this earlier, I was looking at the trailer thermometer, which I thought was the one that was inside the box. But in reality, that's actually the one that is my outside ambient temperature. The one that's in the bedroom, or the one that was in my bedroom, is the one that's in the box. So when I was looking at this, I was seeing, I was seeing like peaks of like 25, 28, something like that. And in reality, it was like really like 57 in the box. So I don't think actually, and like I'm still getting up actually. This is like 1400, so that's like 2 o'clock, 2:30. I'm getting up to like 91 in the box, 82 in the box, 85. Like I think my coldest day, interestingly, I don't know why this was so cold that day. That's actually interesting. I don't know why that was so cold that day because it was actually warmer outside. It was like 35 outside and 45 in the box. Yeah, that's interesting. But anyway, so it's still like 45 in the box is warm enough for the batteries. So I'm back to the drawing board here. So let me take a look at this.
Yeah, so I guess back to the drawing board. But a few things that I didn't show on camera is so when I went out there, I took the voltage. I took the voltage at the solar charger, the positive and negative terminals to the battery, and that was actually interesting. Like wasn't getting a clear reading, and then I realized that actually the fuse that I said earlier that I was suspicious of possibly was the one between the battery and the positive on the battery to the charger. So because I took the reading at the terminals on the charger to the battery, and then I took the reading actually at the battery, and I was getting the like 5.7 volts, which is what I was expecting. So I flipped that, and then that fixed things. And then I suspected it was the solar fuse. So that was actually the first thing that I checked, and I checked at the terminals to the positive and negative from the charger to the solar panels, and I was getting like 21 volts, which is what I would expect for that. So it doesn't seem like my solar fuse is busted. I don't know actually, just from flipping that breaker from the battery to the charger, if that might have done it actually. I guess we'll see in a little bit. I'll probably go back out there and try to get an update on the temperature. I'm just kind of curious if that's working, but I guess I'll probably just leave that in there and unplug it. It was starting to make me think that maybe I need to get one of those self-heated batteries, which is more cost, and then also it's like you're eating into your current or your bank of power. So I think I don't need that because we looked at it just a minute ago, and I could see that like I'm clearly getting like at least up into the 80s most days, and as long as the sun's up, the box is as long as the sun's up, I'm generating power, and then the box is also getting that solar gain, so it's getting heated inside the box. I don't think I really need the heated batteries. I think the box and the insulation is doing its job. So solar is getting voltage. The temperature is above 32, so it's within the parameters of what it should be. I think it might be, maybe that's just that fuse between the battery and the charger. I don't know exactly why that would be. I guess maybe it was putting out more current. Maybe that's what it is. I got to double check on that. Maybe the current coming out of the charger was putting out more than, I think it's a 30 amp fuse. So whatever it could handle. So I'll probably go back out there and see what the readings are. So because I can't get the, I actually had so when I came back inside, it was interesting. I had the camera on the TV for the battery box pop back on. So when I first came back inside, I ended up turning it off and then back on though, or trying to turn it back on, and it wouldn't come back on, or else I'd show you guys. But I don't actually know why that is. Yeah, I was thinking that that battery, that fuse between the battery was stopping things from working, but the inverter still had the red light on. So, and like, again, like I said earlier in the video, is that really shouldn't affect any of the appliances, because everything is wired. All the appliances or all the loads are wired at the battery. So that fuse between the charger and the battery really shouldn't make a difference. So, but then the camera came back on. So, not sure on that. Yeah, I'm really gonna go back out there and take another look. I got another project going on. I'm actually, I'll show you guys. Okay, so I've got 8 plastic sleds here, and my plan is that I'm going to paint them, and they're going to become the covers for the cameras to try to keep the ice and the snow off of them in the rain. So let's see how that comes out. Okay, so I finished painting them. I got like 3 coats on them of brown. I probably should have got a 4th can. I don't know if you can tell, there's a little bit of pink showing through in some spots, but this is the top side, so I don't really think anybody's going to see it. I just didn't want them to be bright pink. So, and for the bottom, I'm going to paint a matte black to hopefully absorb some of the spotlight, the reflection. If you have it too close to the structure above it, then you get a like reflection in the view of the camera. So anyway, I'm going to move them inside for tonight, and then maybe tomorrow I'll flip them upside down and paint the bottoms black. All right, so I'm out here just grabbing my meter. I just flipped those sleds over and did my first coat of the black on the bottom. So let's go over and take a look here. Ready to connect. All right. So actually I can see this is 37.7. So that started reading. Maybe that doesn't, oh yeah, it's warm. I bet that doesn't read below a certain temperature. I don't have power back there yet, but I can see this fuse is still good. This fuse still looks good. Let's go ahead and check our voltage. Let's check the solar first, I guess, while we're here. So 21.9 volts, and my PV light is blinking, so that usually means I'm getting something. And then here, down 4.9. Okay, not sure on that. I'm gonna have to take a look here and see what's going on.
Okay, so I'm just looking at the Renogy charger manual, and I'm looking specifically at this one right here. There's no LED indicator when battery is connected to the charge controller. That seems to actually be happening. And the battery voltage may be less than 9 volt. A minimum of 9 volts is required to power the controller. So I'm wondering if this is like a combination of issues now. So one is that the fuse got blown between the battery and the charger, and then that allowed it to drop in voltage. And then I went out this morning when it was like 5 volts, flipped the breaker back, and then went away, and then I was expecting it to charge, and then I went back out and it was like 4 something volts. So I don't know if I'm actually going to be able to get this back up to where it needs to be with that alone. So I kind of have a feeling I have to pull the batteries out, charge them back up to at least 9, and then plug it back in. And then now that the fuse is flipped back to where it needs to be, it can actually do its job. So that's kind of my working hypothesis at the moment. Also, just while I was out there, one of the things I was thinking is like, I didn't know that fuse was blown until I went out there this morning. Obviously I've been kind of like doing this as a dry run, but so I didn't really wire everything like pretty, but now it kind of makes me think that I should go through and actually start wiring things more permanently, because I'd like to actually have those fuses in view of the camera. So if this happened again, or if it happened, while I'm 150 miles away, I can actually see that the fuse is blown. Also, sorry, I keep saying fuses, but I should be saying breakers, because I have a breaker between the inverter and the battery, and a breaker between the charger and the battery, but I don't have a breaker between the solar panels. That's actually an inline fuse. I'm kind of thinking maybe will replace that too with a breaker, um, and then put all those three in the box and then have them in view. So like bolted to the wall or something, or screwed into the wall. So anyway, I don't know. I think I'm gonna see if I can figure out how I'm gonna charge that, and go from there. All right.
Okay, so I just came out here and I was painting those sleds, second coat, and then I grabbed my battery charger. I've got it set to 12 volts, 2 amps, float charge. And before you get any ideas, this is probably not the best charger for lithium batteries, but there's a bunch of videos on there you can check out on the internet or on YouTube. But it'll work in this situation where I got really low voltage and I'm just trying to bring back a dead bank. I think if this was like a permanent setup, like I don't, my understanding is that the automotive, the gel and the AGM and the flooded don't require as high a voltage, so you really won't top off your bank of your lithium if you were doing something like this more permanently. But I plugged that back in, and can we see it? My monitor came back on, and we're getting about 10.6. So that's a good sign. And then this battery light came back on, but then I flipped it because it turned red. It was supposed to be, I think, green, and it turned red. So I flipped the battery connection off on the breaker for a little bit. But I think that's a good sign. So I might even bump this up, I think, to 10 amps, and we can see what that does. So I'll probably come back out in maybe half hour and see where this is at. But I think this is in the right direction. So let me get this topped off. The sun is out somewhere behind there, but it's definitely sunny enough for us to get this charged. So, all right. Anyway, I'll check back in with you guys in a bit. Okay, just real quick, I didn't even walk away. So I was going to close this cover, and my positive was getting in the way of the glass. So I disconnected and I switched it, and then I looked over at the monitor. I was curious to see how fast it would drop again, and it was like 10.8 still. Like it wasn't really dropping. So then I was like, huh. Like, let me just flip this fuse, and if you can see back there now, I'm getting positive 7 amps, 79 watts. So it seems like it's charging it. And then I just looked up this red indicator. That means that the battery is over or undercharged. So, but it seems like it's working. So I think this might be it. I think I'm not going to touch it. I think I'm going to disconnect that negative terminal and then disconnect the battery charger, and I'll leave it out here so I don't have to drag it out again. But I think we're back in action. And then the other thing that's interesting is I did notice that the heating light turned off on this. It's not on now because I unplugged it to plug in the battery charger, but that seemed to be doing its job. So I'll go ahead and disconnect that and then close this up. And let's disconnect this. All right, well, so I think that's positive. So I think now I can monitor it back from inside. Oh, the inverter's still off, but yeah, let's go ahead. Let's try to turn the inverter on, see what happens. See if it can keep up. I'm at 11.2 volts right now. Let's turn the inverter on. That's going to steal, I think, 15 watts, but that's fine because I'm at 80 watts right now. Positive. Let me turn the inverter back off and see. That should probably go up to like 100, my guess would be. Yeah, 95. So even with the inverter on, 98, 99, 100, yeah, 103. And the sun's like kind of actually just coming out now. I don't know if we're going to be able to. Yeah, there's the sun. So, yeah, 91. Turn the inverter back on. Yeah, so that still seems like plenty. This is like equivalent. So this 5 amps is like the equivalent to me running the trickle charge, I think, anyway. So I'm going to leave it like that. Yeah, let's see. The float charge would be 2 amp. The fast charge would be 10. So this is better than that. So almost like a fast charge. So I'm going to leave it like that. I think hopefully we're in the clear, and hopefully that red light goes out. I'm going to try to connect to the camera and just make sure everything's in the right position for me to see from inside. But I think we're good. All right. All right. I don't know if you guys noticed it earlier in the video, but one of the camera in the box was saying ready to connect. And when I went to go connect to it after I was just out there to see like if it was like in the right position or whatever, and I couldn't connect to it. So I thought that was weird. And then I was like, oh, I'm like, I think it must have reset. So maybe when it gets down to like a certain voltage, like there must be some programming in there that like it erases its memory or something like that. So I deleted the camera and added it back. But if you guys have wise cams, just keep that in mind if you're doing something like this. Now on the 120 volt side, that would never happen because the low voltage protection pretty much stops it. And I think two things on that. So the inverter, I've got the 120 volt inverter, which I think cut out Well, actually, now that I mention it, I don't know if the no, I think the inverter cut out because that red light came on in the front, and I don't think that's usually there. That was in the camera last night. I don't have any recording of that, but it's like when I logged in. Um, I think the inverter was doing something on it on its own to protect from the low voltage. But on the other end is on the before you plug in like any like USB appliance like that, there's usually like you have that converter. So there's like the little white plug, 120 volts, and then it spits out 12 volts. That also would protect it, I think. So that's like doing work to kind of keep that as at a constant voltage, I'm pretty sure. So this is a little bit different, is because I'm just plugging the USB directly into the cigarette adapter, and I don't know if that's doing anything. I think that's just well, I think some USB is at 5 volts, some is at 12, but I don't. No, I think USB is 5 volts. So that must be doing like some sort of conversion, but I don't know how it's doing it. Um, so anyway, but I just wanted to throw that out there. Is like I think if you get too low on your voltage, you might erase the memory on your camera. So I just went in and reset it up, so you might have that same experience. Anyway. All right, back inside. I'm gonna call this a win. I got the bottom row back online, so I can see everything that's going on in the woods. And let me pull this one up. See if we can see it from here. 4.2 amps, 49 watts, 59 watts. It's a little tough to see, but and then I can see that our battery indicator is red and our PV is blinking. So PV blinking is good. Battery red is not great yet, but I'm confident now that it's at least charging. So I think that battery will come up like I think that battery light will go from red back to green once it's had enough time charging. I think that's just going to take a little bit of time, but the fact that it's charging again, just looking at those previous day clips where we weren't seeing this at all, I think this is the solution to our problem. So I think what I need to do is I really got to clean up all these wires and get this to a more permanent setup. And like I said, I think I really want those fuses to be in view. So I think I'll switch the solar fuse to a breaker and then try to get those so I can see them all. Or maybe what I'm thinking is this is actually the monitor for my winch setup. So these are actually the batteries and the monitor for my winch setup. So I need to get a set of batteries for this. And that's why I was thinking maybe I need to get the heated battery, but I don't think that's the case. I think that this box does the job, keeping them warm when it needs to be warm. But also I need to get another monitor, and this is like $60, I think, and I like it. But I'm wondering if maybe it'd be better to go a little cheaper and get like 3 monitors, or at least 2 monitors, like one from the solar and then one to the battery, and then maybe another one for the load or something. I don't know. Like this does like an absolute measurement. So I'm getting positive 5 amps right now, but that's also subtracting positive 60 watts, but that's subtracting 20 watts that's in use. So this is, this is canceling out a little bit. It would be nice to have maybe 2 where I can see that I'm generating 80 watts of solar and then I'm using 20 watts of consumption. And then I think that would be useful to actually see, like, if I do have a problem, which I would kind of get in a way, like in a roundabout way. If I had the breakers there, I could at least see if like they were tripped and I wasn't getting any current. I think having the monitors would just be a step up from that, so I could get more fine detail. But anyway, I think this is it for this video. I think it's fixed, or I'm going to call it fixed, and I think we're good. But thanks for tuning in.